What's good, everybody? What is good? Welcome to an episode of Opinionated. I, of course, am your guy, Resla, and I'm hoping that you're having a good day today on this goddamn good Saturday. Uh, Sorry, we were going to be doing a stream earlier today. I did have some scheduled for 3, but I knew I was going to be having a really good show over at the Cellulite Podcast. Good shout out to my guy Will, who's also here up in the chat. Salute out to him. He had a really, really good stream today. We talked about some really good stuff in terms of insecurities and when it comes to machismo and how people act in terms of relationships. It was a really, really good stream. For those of you that didn't check it out, shame on you guys. Shame on you. You should really go about your way. I actually put a community tab for it as well, because that means you were already given fair warning ahead of time to show up at the damn Cellulite Podcast. We were going to be talking about that fire ass topic, which was pretty damn good. So if you haven't, be sure to actually check out that stream. It happened. It just ended. Sorry. It's no longer live. No longer live. Your boy was gone. He had a fire stream. Shout out to the panelists that were also up there as well, because we had some pretty damn good conversations. But if you want to check out the past stream, be sure to go out to Cellulite Podcast. If I am a good host, which hopefully I will be, I will do my best in linking linking his URL to the chat, so that you'll know exactly what stream that was. And outside of that, how are you guys doing today? Now that I'm just coming in and rushing from that channel, because it was too far for me to walk away from. And I'm hoping that you guys are having a good day as we get into what we're talking about today, right? With that being said, I hope that things are going well today. I did pop by on LA Wilkes' channel, who was doing pretty damn good on his thing with the body cam, which was pretty crazy. Shout out to OG Do Dirty. I saw him and Mayo sitting up on the channel, so that was also pretty good. It seemed like everybody's having a pretty damn productive weekend, so I'm enjoying it. And shout out to all you guys for actually showing up. Let's see who's in the building so far. We got Butterfly Jones, first one in the building. And then, of course, Trash. Listen, Trash. Thank you for showing up, man. And of course, Conchonery. Absolutely. Absolutely. Loving that you guys are already here today. It's so sad that I can rely on you guys being the first participants that really show up. But what happened to everybody else? God knows there's other people who have seen. Is it that YouTube's hating on me? Because I try to make this stream ahead of time so that people already knew. I did the community post so that people would know that I would be doing something today. I wasn't going to skip out today. We not going to skip out on leg day. When I do streams, outside of doing videos, it's leg day, sir. That's just the way it is for me. It's not easy doing these things on the fly. It's one thing when you prep for it, because you get to screw up, you get to edit, you get to do a playback, you see how you feel. Put on a live, that's leg day. That's the hardest day. So shout out to you who actually showed up pretty damn early for today. And I kind of want to cover a little bit of what we were talking about in terms of some of the things that were going on the Cellular Podcast. But I won't really get into it as far as it's something huge, because I kind of want you to go about checking out that kind of stuff. We had some different takes of opinions that were going up there, and for most of and foremost, while I'm not very big on talking about the whole relationship thing, even though I've been in that sphere for a while, it was a really, really good talk, because he managed it. Say like managed to hold it down in a way that was very engaging, very consistent, and it wasn't polarizing. So he's a very good host as well as a good moderator. You should go check him out. But there was a conversation of something that I was really thinking about, and it was in terms of the ego and insecurities. Now, I'm someone who gets very specific, because I know how, as human beings, we can become very convoluted in our speech. And there were definitely people on the panel and such who had their own different opinions, that always like to look at the definition of how something looks on the internet. And so that's no shout out. That's no shots at them or anything like that. People are allowed to do so. That's what the dictionary is for, right? But when I also look at the dictionary, I also pay attention to how people interpret things. Same way how I do when I talk to you guys on a regular. I'm always thinking about what something means, how I mean it, and then also how you might be interpreting it. And that's something that we have not really figured out in terms of communication. Yes, guys, I'm very big when it comes to communication. I very much try to figure out not only what I'm saying, but also how you may be perceiving it based on the words that I'm actually using it, because everybody sees something differently. Not everybody's reaching for a dictionary because people have to interpret speech in real time. And I hope that over time, as we're dealing with how we communicate with one another, that we come to a point that we become more cohesive, because communication is so wide and so vast, and we all take our own interpretation of things, whether it's common speech, whether it's ebonics, whether it's short speech, whether it's pig Latin, whatever. There's just too many ways to communicate. And I would like it if we just had a language that was just homogeneous. You get what I'm saying? With that being said, because I feel like I've been dragging on long enough, trust me, I have been on Will's panel and I loved it. And I just pretty much ran through an entire 6 pack, which I'm not very big on beer, but I loved it because it gave me my kind of energy. And I'm still thinking about an energy drink that I still got brewing with me in the kitchen. But let's get into it. So part of the thing that I was thinking about in terms of the conversation that we had today, which I thought was a phenomenal conversation. Again, shout out to him, and shame on you who actually missed it, because you have no idea what you were missing out on. But we went into several things, and I was formulating some thoughts in my mind as to how things were going on. And sorry if I seem like I'm a little scattered, because I was like jotting down my own stuff in reference to keeping in contact with contact. I said contact. I guess you could say contact, but keeping hold to the conversation itself, and then moving on to things that were going on to my head, because I have several conversations in my head. Yes, you can call me a psychopath, but I do. I spin off on different things in my head in real time. So even when I'm talking to you, I'm thinking about different things in my head, and sometimes I end up interrupting my own thoughts. So forgive me for it, but that's just the way how your host runs. So the one of the first segments I was thinking about in terms of the conversation that we were having when it comes to the difference in the difference in interplay between ego and insecurities as I was running on it. It's like I was thinking about that illusion of superiority. That's the first thing I was thinking about in my mind, illusion of superiority. Sorry, I don't really have much notes for it, but I was just thinking about bullet points for myself in real time. And when I think about the illusion of superiority, we were having a conversation that really jumped into my mind about ego and insecurity. But when I looked at it, I looked at it as ego, insecurity up top. And the thing that wasn't really talked about was on the other side of that, and it was arrogance. So we had ego, insecurity, and then arrogance. And there was a big conflation that was happening between ego and arrogance. And there was even a bit of a debate that was trying to be sparked. You guys know me. I look at stuff. I'm not really in the mindset to say, I'm not really in the mindset to really argue with people. Again, no thing that shout out to that person. They're allowed to do whatever they gotta do. Because you're allowed to be in whatever you want to be at. But at the same time, where they're saying, well, I have the dictionary, da, da, da," I'm looking at multiple dictionaries that are really expounding on the point that I made. But there was a whole big thing, and there was a whole grandiose thing about making it. I'm like, you got it. You're allowed to have whatever you can have. Because I'm my premise in having a conversation is not to change your mind. My premise is to have a conversation with you so that you have enough information so that you could be able to formulate your own decision and whether you want to change your own mind. It is not my job to, because that's part of the thing that we talked about actually. When we talked about the terms of control, it was whether you have complete dominance over somebody and controlling them as if you had one of these, or you had influence. And there was a bit of conversation that was a little bit convoluted as to what was what. And I get that the internet may put things out, but before the internet, we still had things called thesauruses, dictionaries. And as much as we get into that, shout out. It's becoming a boy, male. Uh, but even before that, we had different things. So I'm looking at several different things. I mean, I'm looking at their dictionary, the same thing they're looking at. I'm looking at freaking psychology. I'm looking at freaking three different dictionaries, actually. Yeah. Even to the point, if you want to look at it that way, I wish I would have done it, but I didn't do it because I was already over that part of the conversation, which is the Urban Dictionary, which we're not going to do that because we know Urban Dictionary doesn't really count for a whole lot of what we look at in the real world. But I do believe that how we communicate in tandem with each other is very important. Um, because I do believe that there should be one form of language. And this is just my thoughts in general. You don't have to agree with me because I know there's some people that believe we need to have our own language. Hurrah! These are the black folks. Hurrah! Blah, our language. So we gotta form our own language. And I'm not. I could not. I could not care less. I really, honestly, could not care less. You know, I it's difficult enough for me as an individual to travel the US and meet people with different uh, accents, screw dialects, accents, and be able to say, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be a dick, but what did you say again? Like, sometimes, or worse than that, to be someone who is perceived, I'm doing air quotations, of course, perceived as intelligent because there's a difference between being wise, being intelligent, and being smart. Believe it or not. Again, something that you can conflate. But to have somebody speak and then turn around to correct them, and I don't think that's my thing. My in my understanding as a human being, it's my job to get into a point where I'm able to understand what somebody's saying. Because I think understanding them is more important than trying to correct them. Because the ideal of dealing with anyone is to understand their point of view and not necessarily try to get them to understand your point of view. That's not the point. The point of communication is to be able to understand, not to correct. Oh, you managed to walk in here. Uh-huh. You managed to get in here? Huh? Uh-huh. Yeah? Is that what happening now? Hmm? You managed to walk in here now? Mm-hmm. It took you long enough. Mm-hmm. I've been on the stream for a little bit now. I've been here for 15 minutes and now you show up? Mm-hmm. Shame on you, girl. Shame on you. I'll let you know that. No, look at this one. He walked in here too. What was your excuse? You're normally one of the first people in here. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. What's your excuse? See, I saw her in the last stream, so she has a little bit of, but you don't have an excuse, sir. You don't have an excuse. You just walking in this late. Be on black people time. That's what happens, CCD. You on black people time. We didn't give you a card. Only Mayo have the card right now. We didn't give you the card yet, sir. You're on probation, sir. I just want to let you know that ahead of time. So, all right, only because you asked nicely, though. Anyway, we had a really good conversation over there on the Say You Like podcast, and there were things that really run into my mind. One of them was when we were talking about the insecurities and the difference between arrogance and ego, which I thought was pretty damn good because, but we didn't really get in the nitty gritty of that because we had a direction that we were trying to get to when it came to the actual stream itself. But a lot of people don't really understand the difference between, and I get it, it's so easy, it's so much murky waters, but there's a reason why the two words exist in the first place, and that is ego, and then there is arrogance. Are y'all hearing me correctly? See, I'm not really having a problem with mic today. I want to make sure. I just want to know if you're hearing me correctly. Uh, sir, the same way how you cannot loan your passport, he does not get a loan on that. He's in the passport office for getting his black card. Yours already went through. You can't loan your card out. Just letting you know that. It has your social on it. It has your credentials. It says that you get a freaking freedom fighter for the black cause. He doesn't have his yet. When he gets his, it'll be his. You can't loan him yours. All right? You got benefits. You can't share the benefits with him. He has to get his own benefits. That's just the way how it works. Getting a black card is like having your own Section 8. You can't, we're not allowing you to share your Section 8. You have to prove that you actually have family. All right? It's not the way it works. Absolutely. I want one. I'll take one. And while we're at it, I'll not only take one of those, but I'll take an immigration card, please. Even though I'm a fucking citizen, I'll take an immigration card because they getting benefits. They getting benefits. Just saying. Amnesty. I'll take it. I'll take everything. Why? Because I can have it, right? Land of opportunity, right? I want all of it. I want it all. I want it all. I want you to call me a citizen. I want you to call me an immigrant. I want all the status. In fact, at 5'11", I want you to call me a midget because you know why? They get benefits. They get benefits. Call me a midget at 5'11". The OG, you 6 feet plus. I'm proud of my 5'11", but I'm not 5'11" in the bedroom. Just saying, a lot larger than that. I'm larger than life in the bedroom. I do my thing. Just saying. Y'all play if you want to. I do my thing. There's no one complaining in that department, and we'll leave it. You said TMI? Okay, that's cool. Anyway, arrogance is not something that people really think about. And I really want to break it down because people think that when you are dealing with ego, that there is this big inflated sense of self-worth, and there is a part of that, right? But here's the thing. The thing when it comes to arrogance is that it's fake. It's fake. You're literally faking it till you make it. That's the thing when it comes to actual arrogance. Ego is just, you know what? I'm doing what I do. A few people said I was already good at what I do. I believe that I am awesome because other people said I'm awesome. It's your own self-importance when it comes to ego. Arrogance means that you can literally lie because you can automatically know that you're not good at something, but you will lie. And if you say with enough confidence, people will believe you. That's the difference. But that's not something that was necessarily highlighted. We were on a conversation that was really going into a lot of areas, but it really honed in at the end because it was still very good throughout the message. And it is okay for you to have insecurities. The most important part is that you acknowledge it, that you understand what is an insecurity. Like, honestly, I people who are arrogant understand that they have a low self-esteem, but they fake it. They bolster themselves up. It's inflated. A good example of this, where are my DBZ fans? Yes, we gonna go to Dragon Ball Z. Goku has ego. He know he's a good fighter. He wants to fight everyone. He just wants to see who's top notch. Vegeta, absolute arrogance. He believes he's top shit just because he's the Saiyan Prince. Even though he got his ass handed to him by quite a number of people, he still believes he's top-ish because he is the Saiyan Prince. He is the prince of a dead planet. But he still believes he's better. He's better than Kakarot, who keeps surpassing him. If that's not arrogance, I don't know what is. That's a great example right then and there. Not to say he's not He doesn't have qualities. Not to say he's not a good uh, fighter in his field, but he still bolsters himself despite seeing all the evidence in front of his face, despite knowing that he has shortcomings. That's not to say that he can't even push past it because he does, but he only gets better. He only really comes to a point where he can start succeeding past or even becoming equal to Goku, Kakarot, only once he gives in and just says he stops caring about comparing. Did you hear me when I said that? He stops caring about comparing. And that's a problem that we have as human beings, as what we need to do to survive and being in the future as a hierarchy or as a species in general, is that we spend, especially here on the social media landscape, it's very important. I wish I didn't screw up some of my settings because I would have just basically zoomed in on your asses right here. I would have said, especially, I would have zoomed in on you, but I didn't because I messed up that button earlier today. But especially on the fact that a lot of people spend a lot of their times comparing themselves to other people. And we do it subconsciously, but there are people who actively, it's like, honestly, it's like porn. They actively go out of their way to look at things that will make them feel bad, but they're hoping they will make them feel good. Imagine this. And I'm gonna relate to porn, but you're on your phone, you get up and you're on your train, you're heading to work, whatever. You get on your phone, and you're like, "Hmm, I look better than this person." Say you're a decent looking woman, or you get a few eyes coming at you, and you're like, "I look better than her. I could do better than her." And it doesn't work out. It just doesn't work out. But you're in your mind thinking that you can do better. Cool. Then you get the guys that's in there like, yo, he ain't no better than me. I can do my thing. Da, 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 da. It's all good. I can do that. But the inflated ego is also this. How many people can walk up to the people that they deal with on a regular basis and say, this person is not really what I'm gonna be doing in life? And how many people really want to be in the position of somebody else? A great example, and I'm gonna use the prawn aspect of it. They look at POV prawn, but they're really looking at someone else's member, pretending like it's their own. That person's getting the work. They're getting the job done, not you. But you're the one who's getting as it was said by Khan, you're it's overcompensation. You're the one who's now thinking, if that was me, I'd be giving her that same kind of work. It's not you, because you didn't put yourself in that position. Go lie. You're not doing it. Not about that life. You're not. Could you put yourself in that position? Sure, with enough time and effort, but you're not doing it. And that's when we're talking about that superiority of ego versus the superiority of arrogance, because they're so walking side by side, but there is a distinction between the both of them. And too many times we get them mixed up. Just being honest. The roles of social comparison is something that we get mixed up quite a bit when we get into areas because we mean one thing and we say another thing. And I'm not one to debate you if you wish to be wrong, but there's a reason why words are created, plain and simple. Um, Another thing that we have to talk about when it comes to people, whether it's men and whether it's women and whatever, in general, is that we have to overcome the need for validation. Now, I'm not gonna say this for many of my people up here because I think you're pretty good. I've had pretty um, solid conversation with you guys, either on a one-on-one in the chat or through like messages or stuff like that, most of you guys are solid. Like this thing that you believe that someone that you need to have validation that someone else needs to be able to big you up for you to feel important is not necessarily a thing. You guys have friends and families, and even within this community that we have right now, that I said it before and I'll say it again. We're like a tight knit family. While we're all separate and we're even across the nation or even globally, we know that when we come here, we recognize the same faces, we recognize the same names, and we know the same conversations that we've had multiple times because we've shared those same conversations amongst each other. And while they don't seem like much, let's be honest, they are because we're willing to, on and off, and many times, have this conversation with each other. We come back. If it was meaningful, we wouldn't come back. We come back because we know that we like to. This is cheers, right? This is cheers. Everybody here. If CCD walk in here, we're screaming his name like Norm. If Con Shunner walk in here, we're screaming their name like Norm. We go where people want to know our name. You don't want to be amongst the crowd where nobody knows you. Everybody, even in the crowd, wants to be acknowledged. But it's hard to do that when we have the countless faces. So we go where we're celebrated. And we should. Which is why when you come to a place like here, I shout you guys out when you walk in here. Because I want you to know that I acknowledge you, even if, especially, especially if I'm putting you out and I turn around and do this. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Cool. Because you know why? I chastise those I love. You will get highlighted. You will. You absolutely will. Because I acknowledge you for being here in the first place. Even those who sitting there ninja watching, they just sitting in the cut in the background, whatever. Eventually, hopefully, you find a voice. You find your voice, or rather, you find your fingers and you type in the chat. Don't be scared. We don't have teeth in the keyboard, so we can't bite you. And I guarantee you, in the kind of community that we build here, and the type of family that we built together here, ain't nobody really gonna shoot you. I mean, some of these people have guns, so be careful. But nobody's gonna shoot you online. Let me just say that much. Most I can say. Oh, hell no. I would have rather you walked in here and said, "Booty hole Brown, how dare you say that heifer should be president?" That is not a thing we're gonna do here. Not that hole. Not that one. I swear, you keep upping your game. Versus Booty Hole Brown now is for president? Jesus Christ. Oh my goodness. It gets worse. What's next? Drink her bathwater? What's the next thing, Zoomer? God damn. You know what? You make me jump into my next point. Embrace the humility. Can we have a little bit of humility? God damn. I don't even think I need to say so much. Oh my goodness. For president? Oh my goodness. I can't even. I can't even. I'm gonna move on for that. That was crazy for president. Segment 2 that I'll get into. I don't mean to rhyme today. It's just I don't know if I read a Doctor Who book in my sleep or something, but that shit threw me off. I can't even go through my last point. He really fucked me up on that. I was expecting Booty Hole Brown. I was not expecting for president. Jesus Christ. Anyway, we got to talk about vulnerabilities, right? When it comes to vulnerabilities and the things that we're grappling with, we need to get an understanding of the root cause of the things that we need to be empowered by. We do. And my segment two was pretty much I should really put together graphics or something, but it takes time because especially I do these things on the fly. But it's the fear of reflection. It was something I was saying on Cellulite's podcast. And one of the things that when we're tracing the origins of like insecurities, and when I say tracing the origins, like what are some of the things that we can say that we look back in ourselves? Because about this channel and the things that we go through is that we talk about insecurities. We do a lot of introspection, and the one of the main premises of this channel is that we deal with social media on a regular basis. Let's just be honest. A lot of us here pop a lot of different channels. And if we're not on different channels, then we're on Instagram or we're on Facebook or whatever. And we see so much BS, so much on our feeds, regardless of where we are. And if we're not careful, right, we, on the back burner of our minds, become influenced and maybe even indoctrinated to for views or opinions that are really not our own. And then what we do is that we get on other panels, or once in a while we hear something that somebody else says, and you know what we do and we say, "That's not true." And it's not because it's our particular views, but it's because we hear it so much that we take on the views of other people and we pretend that it's our own. And that becomes a problem. Uh, am I up for it? I don't know if I'm up for it, CCD. Me being a press man is me pressing some of these chicks up against the wall. Anyway, so about reflections, I want to talk about embracing vulnerabilities. So the thing about embracing vulnerabilities that we have is that when we look back on some of the insecurities, that we really got to figure out where we are when it comes to vulnerabilities and really acknowledge some of the things that we're going through, right? So when we're going through vulnerabilities, how many of us say that we know what vulnerabilities that we have, and we're willing to say these things outright to other people? Most of us will not say it to other people. Maybe if we pick the right person, if we find the right person, we're willing to say these things to them. However, the trope that we hear throughout these, I don't even know how to name them right now. I don't even know if I really want to say manosphere, to be honest with you. But a lot of things that we hear is that you can't tell anyone your deepest dark secrets. So basically, you have to go to the grave. You can never tell the people the things that could hurt you the most because you trust them and not you trust them that they won't do the wrong thing, right? I get it. Things happen. People use people. People become vindictive all the time. So what should we do about that? Do we just strengthen it over time so that our vulnerabilities don't become that anymore, whatever that process might be? Or do we just keep that shit to the grave? And we keep it even from the people that we're married to, the people that we share kids with. Like, what exactly do we do? Because I'll be honest with you, the things that I hear out here in these streets ain't it. They're really not it. And which is why I went to the point of saying embracing your vulnerabilities. I think we need to get to a point, again, not preaching to you, just I'm in my own head until we are really able to start having lots of conversations with each other. In fact, see, look, let you know I am new to the game. But until we start really having a lot of uh, conversations where we can actually start doing the things that are really important. Oh, you hear me? Like I'm already doing my own shit. But with a point where we can start having conversation, where we can start doing our own thing, and we can start putting ourselves in a position where we can start being honest with each other. Because I don't think a lot of people really go about the ways of doing that. I don't think many people are willing to be so vulnerable because we're so much on edge about what somebody else is going to do to us. And a lot of what happens in the world, believe it or not, it's not about worrying about what happens to us because things are always going to happen to us. What's most important is what we are going to do about it. And I love the conversation that we have with people because it's honestly the truth. It's things are going to happen. It's not someone else's job to fix it, but it is in fact your responsibility to make sure that you give yourself the best outcome, the best look on life. And I don't think a lot of people are willing to do that, to willing to do that kind of work. Not from what I've seen, by the way. It's easier to just blame people for shit. That's it. That's just the way how I see it. Um, as it goes, though, as it goes, we need to be able to be better people for one another. That's just what it is. And that means if we're going to be better when it comes to each other, not judging each other for the things that other people have done to us in the past, if we're going to be better at getting things done. Sorry, I'm in my own mind. Plus, I've been drinking, whatever case may be, whatever. Don't you dare judge me. Um, Getting things right from our past, not judging other people from our past, and understanding that every individual that we deal with is a new individual. Yes, we can learn from the things that we have done from our past, but it doesn't mean that the people that we deal with in the present are people from our past. And I love some of the things that were mentioned on the panel, but also in the fact that it was a question, and if Will's in here, maybe he can correct me on it because I'm probably gonna butcher it, but I'm gonna paraphrase. He was talking about in reference to oh shit, I'm already losing my thought the moment I mentioned it. But there was a point where we were talking about I'm really losing my fucking I'm losing my and then look at me, I'm already cursed already. But losing the thought where he was talking about the idea that he had done so many things to people. And again, I I have to. I have a past like many people have a past. But the idea is that if he has a particular thing that he looks at as an insecurity, he would bring it up. He would bring it up as something that would be something that his partner should know. So therefore, they would understand that it is an actual vulnerability. So therefore, they would know that this is something that could make their partner, which would be him, in a very precarious position because he's very iffy about that. And he would ask them not to place them in a position where basically their relationship would be at jeopardy. I know I just said a whole bunch of shit, but that's just the way it unwound in my head because I didn't take time to actually sort it out. But so hopefully you got that. Um, as an insecurity, he would mention something ahead of time as a cautionary tactic to let them know not to do that thing so that therefore they wouldn't jeopardize a relationship. That's the best way I could put it. Hopefully you got that. And I think a lot of us do that, but the question of whether we control people was a big aspect that came up in this conversation. And we need to understand there's a difference between control and influence. You can definitely manipulate somebody to do things if you're savvy enough to get people to do things. You can assert parameters so that people will willfully give you submission so that therefore you're able to dictate what their actions are. But this is manipulation because that's influence. The idea of control, and I'll even put it into the way that he said it, which was absolute control, is not something that is readily available for people because there were things brought up like children and such like that, but even they don't come with absolute control. Their control, like many people's control as being autonomous individuals, free thinking individuals, is subjective. You let me know what your thoughts is on that. Do you believe that you have complete control over anyone, whether it might be your wife or your husband or your kids or even your pets? Because I've had some stubborn ass dogs in my life. Just want to let you know that. But and I don't think that necessarily works out. I think we become the most obedient to people that we think have our best interests at heart. But that's just the way how I see it. It may not actually be true. The next part of the thing I was talking about was I don't know why I wrote it like that, but it was cultivating a self comparisons. Now, the self comparison part that I was putting in my head was as much as we are different, because there was an aspect of the conversation that said that just because we are all men, we were all men on the platform at one point. There was a woman that came up, but as much as we are all men on the platform, even if we gave a particular scenario, we will all see it differently. This is the thing that I love about human beings. You can have six human beings ask a particular question and get six different answers. Just the way how we are built. I would say throughout time, as we got into the social media age, I'm a little wary about that now. There used to be six answers. Now I think you might get to, four of the six, or even like two, and then you have the rest, the four, rest doing whatever. So we become more hive mind because I think we've indoctrinated too many. We've taken on too many other people's viewpoints, and I think we're less inclined to think for ourselves nowadays. That's just what I think based on what the actions that I've seen within social media. But the idea that so I'm trying to lose my point here, but the idea that we do things right there. When you look at the human brain in general, we're more alike than we are different. But on a psychological level, we are becoming so much further apart than we've ever been, and it's just really, really crazy. And when I thought about the comparisons part with each other, especially when I talk about the idea that people want so much validity, to gain so much, validity when it comes to one another, it made me wonder. And I mean, when I thought about it as being a person, because I see so many people on the internet they have hive minds, right? Or the way how Will put it one time, it was herd speak, which I thought was pretty funny because he was on a particular channel where things popped off and they were all in sync, but he wasn't. Herd speak. Where the idea is that I had to ask myself a really profound question when I was thinking about that during the stream, and that was the power of authenticity. How many people are really being authentically them, or they are being something that they believe other people believe that they should be? So when we have a conversation of people who talk about being masculine or having particular principles or how a man should be, whatever, I think this is something that we talk about in terms of being hive minded or herd speak in this one. Because I always come from the standpoint of saying men are different across the globe. Yes, there are some fundamental principles that men have followed, but they have never been written in stone. There are plenty of men that will take the advice of women who have women of counsel, you know, who, their women were their priestesses and their shamans or whatever. It was never just a total male dominated thing where it was just male on male on male on male, which sounds weird to say male on male on male on male, but whatever. Or men were just the ultimate leaders around the whole time. There were definitely women who had situations of power, whether these guys want to admit it or not. And I always laugh at the point where they talk about, well, men were like this way in the past, when the truth of the matter is that you have no history to tell you that. You have what are written in books when books weren't a thing. What do you really know? You talk about things that you believe should be in place because these are the things that were told to you. But the truth of the matter is that they're all history, his story. You really don't know what really happened. And this is the thing that we learn throughout time, is that we learn little secrets that happen whether it's within the history, the context of history. We can learn little back alley shits that happen throughout history. We learn it. Everybody. even has so much pride within their family and their family name, right? But then we learn the dirty little secrets as we get older that family has, right? So there's always something that we don't necessarily know. We may be prideful on our last name, then all of a sudden, as we're much older, we find out where our last name comes from, right? And the truth of the matter is that you really don't know anything. You know nothing until it's time for you to know. That's just what it is. I'm not trying to shit on you guys or make you feel disparaged about what's going on or what you should and should not know. I'm just telling you the truth. Is that you really don't know anything. And the truth of the matter is that as a guy, you're always learning. Oh, as a human being, I wanted to say as a guy, you're always learning. So the question is that when you're on these internet spaces, right? How much of you is really authentic and how much of you is just a character picture of what you would like to show? I'll tell you that straight up. Who you see, me, that's who you would get if you ran into me in the street. You would get the intellectual side of me, you would get the quirky side of me, you would get the corny side of me, you would get the funny part side of me, you would get the aggressive part of me. Like you will get the guy that will not chase you down. I wouldn't chase you down. I just pull up my knife and throw it at you because I'm a pretty good thrower. Like I'm just gonna let you know. I'd rather you drop it than me go after you afterwards. Me chasing you down is not something I'm willing to do. You better have good feet and do zigzags. Just to let you know. I'm the kind of guy that I'm not gonna necessarily get out of my way to become jealous or to get into a really big screaming match. I guess depending on how much I drink, because you guys have already seen Tesla, I guess. That's the only time I will really get loud. But on my normal basis, there's no sense in me getting loud with you because I don't think it's effective communication. Because some people just enjoy yelling. And I know when I'm out in the street and I hear little girls yell, it annoys me because y'all go to the highest pitch of your voice and it drives me nuts. So when I hear people, y'all go, wait, wait, hey, 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 stop with all that goddamn yelling. And that's the highs you may get me to go. So I don't understand when we're here on these internet streets and I see people yelling profoundly loud into their mics. It doesn't make any sense to me. Are you saying that you can't communicate? And I'm not picking on the gentleman who was on the stream today. I say this in general because I see this all across the internet. Really? Even to the point where now I will talk about the gentleman earlier today to say, well, that's just me. Should that be though? Are we not able to have conversations without yelling at each other? No, that's not even gentleman to him. That's just in general what I see on the internet. Yelling, clowning on each other, disrespect right out the gate. Is that something that we should be doing? Is that the way how we properly share words with one another? Is that the cultural perspective when it comes to being a man? Is that the most productive thing that we can do as a man? And I can hear some people in the back of their mind. I'm not saying you in general, but maybe someone who's watching this in the future, or maybe even one of those people in the space, maybe even someone who might be ninja watching. He sound like a pussy. No, I sound like someone who actually wants to be heard and understood and not just drop to narratives or drop to someone who just automatically has to start shaming other people because why? He actually has a mind of his own. If the first thing that you can do is just start coming out your mind and start disparaging other people because you can't think straight, you can't think without jumping to a conclusion of antagonizing other people, you might look at me as a pussy, but I think of you as the ultimate fool. Said what I said. You're the ultimate fool. Because people will rally to my cause for keeping my calm thought. And people will look at you as being an absolute idiot. And again, to some people out there, especially if you want to be a nigga, you're okay with being a fool. I'd rather be taken seriously in this world and not looked at as a clown. You take that to the bank with you. Tell me where you can cash for that shit. Just saying. We're going to do a moment of silence for that idiot. Oh, moment of silence is over. Sorry, you don't get that long of a fucking respect. I'm just gonna say that. I'm just gonna say that. And if you don't like it, kick rocks. Don't care. Next one I want to talk about because we're talking about authenticity is honoring the truth. Why is it we don't honor the truth anymore? Because I am rather blunt. Now, when I say being blunt, I'm not talking about just being an asshole for the sake of being an asshole. Trust me, I got my license. You can call my mama. I got a license. I'm an asshole. She been an asshole. I'm an asshole by birthright. Trust me, I got that shit on lock. I ain't certified. But I've got enough training to say that it's not about me. When I talk and I listen to other people, I want to have a genuine conversation, but I'm always cognizant that someone else in the distance might be looking at us and they're paying attention to how we are, how we're moving. And I need to know that we are setting a good foundation on how they should act. When I see parents arguing with one another, I'm looking for the children because how they react with each other signifies to their children how they should react to other people. I'm just saying, it's important. So, building genuine relationships are something that's really important. But for other people, they're thinking, well, after everybody else, it's just how I feel. And in my mind, yes, you should be paying attention to yourself when it comes to the world and how you move in the world and how you look in the world. But it's not always about you. And part of the conversation that we were having on Cellulite Stream was how important is male image? So I guess the question was more important. How important is your image to other people? And I said it's important. But I could see people in the chat who said things like, oh, image is not important. Image has never helped anyone in the world. And I'm like, there are people who I've never met that because of the image that I portrayed, they recommended me to other people. That those same people have turned around and said, I've heard about you from so and so and offered me more money than what the job actually cost. What the job was willing to pay out. They offered me more money strictly because other people had bigged me up because of how I moved. That was based on my image. And I get it. It was all based on your personal perception. But the problem that we have is that we take, and because this is something that happened a lot, we take our own perception of what things happen to us or our own eye view, and we cast that out upon the world. And that's not true. We take what we see in the world, our myopic view, and we say that this is something that happens everywhere. It's not. I'm sorry. Just because Consuela did you wrong one time when you was in freaking Mardi Gras, out in New Orleans, that now every chick who's named Consuela is gonna do you wrong. It's wrong. It means that was a bad hoe. Not that all Consuelas are hoes. I'm just gonna tell you the truth. Because there are people out there that says, I would never deal with another Puerto Rican chick, or I would never deal with another Colombian, or I would never deal with another Mexicans because of the one Mexican that did me wrong. I had one dish from a Mexican chick and I was shitting all night and I would never eat from another Mexican again. That is insane statements to make. Maybe that bitch didn't cook very good, or Mexican food just doesn't really suit you. Just a thought. Don't blame other people for how the one experience that you had, how you experienced that one thing. It just may not be for you. Just saying. So that's what we're talking about in terms of building genuine relationships. You need to be more open minded and not close yourself up to everybody who comes across you because of the few experiences that you've had. Now, I'm not telling you to be gullible and trust everybody. I'm just asking you to have more discernment rather than you to wall yourself off, because I think the people who die early enough and never experienced much are the people that become so hardened that they never grow. because it's already difficult that as we get older, we become more rigid. So I think the people who learn to adapt and evolve and be able to move forward with how the world is moving are those who are able to evolve. I think the more you talk about how the good old days were, are those that get stuck and they're not able to move with the new world. Because here's the truth of the matter: as much as you cling for the good old days, they are disappearing. They are disappearing. You can hold on for as long as you can, but eventually your grip will get tired. Collectively, even your grip will get tired because tell me anyone who's ever tried to hold on to the past and successfully has been able to hold on to it. The fact that we are living in the age that we are now, the fact that I am able to sit here and communicate with all of you, not within my office, but within the better part of the world, just lets us know that people weren't able to hold on to the past. Because there was a time when me sitting in front of this camera, there were motherfuckers that was like this. Because they were afraid if they got their picture taken, it would snap their soul away. They were afraid of cameras. Now, on a regular basis, we are like, this is me, my hair, by the way. Trying to get my to those dorky looking bitches, by the way, stop with the duck face. We we've evolved so much throughout time. So the idea that people believe that they can hold on to the past, and I get it, there might be some aspects of the past that were worth holding on to, but it's gonna fade. It's gonna happen whether you like it or not. And I would just say, and I've said it before, be grateful for the past that you've had because here's the truth of the matter. If it was the greatest time in the world and people don't even understand the future, the the freedom that they have or they could have had, the truth of the matter is that because they don't understand what freedom was back then, and because it's so stringent now, they can never imagine what it was. Your words on how freedom was, it's weird to them. They can't they can't understand it. You saying that gas used to be 90, 79 cents back when I was, but a simple coffee is $6 to them. The parallel is like it's night and day. It's between paper and plastic bag, between plastic and hemp bag. They're like, "Oh, what the hell's that?" But how old are you? That's not the world now. Which is why I laugh at how we look at generations coming across the ages. Not the same anymore. And again, the same way how you're struggling with this now, it'll be their turn. I just laugh and I just hope that I stay fluid enough in here so that I can adapt. I would rather be an old man who can adapt with the times to understand what's going on, to know how to move, than cling to the good old days and feel despair in my heart because I'm seeing things perish because I know I have fewer years ahead of me as well. I want to I just want to examine and acknowledge what I have, the time that I have. I'm not me personally. I'm not here to be a freedom fighter. I'm not gonna fight time. I can't fight Father Time. I can't do it. I can't do it. That motherfucker is. He got no losses, and I suggest you don't fight Father Time either. I suggest that you enjoy your years. You can't. Do not fight against the cosmos, please. Fight man if you want to, but don't fight against the cosmos, please. I implore you. And that's why I'll get into my final point of that one, which was segment three, and that's finding your strengths and vulnerabilities. Understand that you have weaknesses. You are weak. You have weaknesses, and that you're able to rise above them. You're able to learn from them. Don't get caught up and stuck by them. Again, I'll say it again because I know I said it way earlier, but I'll say it again. I'm not preaching to you. I'm not telling you what you should do. I'm strictly telling you that the most important thing that you have, not the money, it's not how many women you slayed, it's not how many guys you rode, it's not how many things you bought. It's your experiences with the time that you have. Let me take a look at the chat real quick. So, CCD, you said what? Have time, have a problem entertaining with the situation and open minded. Well, maybe the kindness part. Open mindedness is something. Kindness is something that's very difficult with a lot of people. You could be open minded and not necessarily be kind. So that's something that a lot of people can figure it out. I'm not saying that people need to be kind just because they're open minded. That's it. But and a lot of people are no, they are quick to anger. But I think that's a part of being a human being and also not really knowing yourself. I think the more that you get to discover and know yourself, the more you'll realize you're not really so quick to anger. And it's just a matter of an understanding that you take on when it comes to other people. And the more you understand yourself, is believe it or not, the more you can turn around and begin to understand other people. That's just really what it is. I listen. That's okay. It is, and we move on from there. That's just the way how we do everything. Oh, okay. You got something about me being a TMI. All right. He said he bust down one. Now he ready for all. God damn. All right. I hear that. No questions asked. He's right though. He's right. You gotta become old. There's too many people out here now, they all young and they in their 30s or whatever, but they all talking like they've had wisdom. And there's a difference between being smart, having intelligence, which everybody, well, who at least got to this point, has some form of intelligence. And then there's a point where we're talking about wisdom. You gotta get old to be wise. Like plain and simple. These guys 20, 30 something, my age in my 40s, talking about they wise. You're not. Because here's the truth of the matter. You got uncles, aunties, grandparents, and you ain't listening to them. How wise are you? You're not wise. If you had wisdom, you would be paying attention to what they were telling you so that you could be able to prepare yourself for what's going on in the future. And not because that their time has passed, but because you want to understand what happened there. Because even there's something that they're telling you that could be indicators of what's going on in the present. And therefore you can better prepare yourself for the future. A lot of people will not acknowledge. Look, you already went ahead of me. God damn. Acknowledge the insecurities. They don't. They rather skate over it or say that it's someone else's fault. And that's the truth. He's not lying. I mind just because you said it. Not that I didn't say it earlier, because you came late, by the way. You came late. I shouted out my boy. You came late. But thank you anyway, CCD, for shouting out Say Like, because he did have a fire podcast. That was earlier today. So that's what happens. This is why we talk about you getting your black card. It's on pending status, CCD, because you came late. Let you know. And Mayo can't lend his to you. That's not the way it works. All right. But Yeah, definitely check out CCD. Yeah, you got CCDs. Check out Cellulite's podcast because he really does have a good stream, and he's listen, especially because my boy is monetized now. Come on now, I just let you know that he's doing his thing. So one of the last things I wanted to talk about with you guys, at least when it comes to this topic, was how we need to start talking about the key takeaways of things that we need to look for in life. And it was so we're embracing an authenticity. We're basically confronting the things that we are very insecure about. 'Cause that I want to say that even if you are currently dating somebody or something that you're really holding back, are are you with this person because you really feel like you can't trust them? Because if you are someone that you believe that you can trust them, why isn't you not telling them what it is that you need to be telling them? Are you afraid they might look at you differently? Especially if you've been with this person for, I want to say at least 5 years, you really think they're gonna look at you differently after investing all this time? Unless we're talking about like you broke their rules, like infidelity or whatever. I don't know if you want to keep that to yourself, like just saying. But if it's something that happened within your own time or the way how you feel about a particular something or a particular thing that happened in your lifetime, do you think they're going to love you less? And I can't answer that for you. It's a question that you really ask for your answer for yourself. Because there are things that, believe it or not, I don't need to hold on to, but I do. And it has nothing to do with me. It has to do with people that I don't even talk to anymore. Secrets that I still hold on to, and I don't understand why I do it. I'm just one person that I just confidential confidentiality has always been a thing for me. So I'm not sure. Wait, what happened? Nah, you good. You good. Don't worry about it, man. Don't you worry about it. But it's something that we have to really think about it when it comes to the path and how we're going to be growing for ourselves in the future and how we're going to find out growth and fulfillment. Because there are a lot of people who are walking around. Oh, and actually, that was a point. Now that I say it now, that was a point that was brought up before. And shout out to Smithy who was on the panel. I didn't see Smithy in a while, by the way. So I'm happy that he's still doing things. He's still out here. But it was the idea of people who are talking about when should you find your growth? And I heard things like in your 20s, like 28. I've heard things like it was at 35 or whatever. And I'm thinking, you know what? You find your growth as to what your talents are when you find your goddamn talents. I'm not going to judge you for finding your talents later because we get distracted over time. Some of us are late bloomers. We're not going to turn around. Some of us, listen, some of us were, no matter how if you look at it a certain way, some of us are unfortunate and we lost our virginities early. Some of us lost our virginities in our 20s. Some of us lost our virginities, if you're one of the hopeful ones, lost their virginities and got married when they lost it. Some people didn't lose their virginities until they were well in their 30s, even their 40s, and they paid for it. Regardless of however you lost, whatever you lost, or however you gain your knowledge, or whatever you gain from that, there are early and late bloomers everywhere. The idea that we can turn around and say as to when you be able to learn a particular lesson and become successful is all about the individual, which is why we also have this particular channel. Because I'm not here to really tell you guys when you should be getting something done, but the idea is that I want you to think about it. If you feel like you may be in a trap, or if you're not even aware that you're in a trap, I want you to sit down and think about something real quick. Are you where you want to be in life? And if you never even ask your question to yourself, what is it that you actually want to do? Where is it that you actually want to be? Have you been doing things just because somebody told you what to do? Just told you to do it? What about you? What exactly do you want? What exactly are you good at? Are you putting any extra time in the thing that you're good at? Are you developing a business but not developing yourself? And why not? What makes you happy? I cannot imagine that there's somebody who is going home from work and just saying, I wish I did one more doc. I wish I filled out one more doc review. What are you doing with yourself? That's my question to you personally, because I meet people who are young and in their mid 20s, early 20s, and they say, I'm not doing what I want to do. But guess what? I find people now in their retirement age. I met a person who was freaking 62 years old. And she said, I wasted so much time in the companies that I worked in, and it wasn't anything I wanted to do. And I said, what exactly did you want to do? You know what she wanted to do? She wanted to paint. I thought, when the fuck did you realize you wanted to paint? And she said in her early 20s. But she had she got with the company when she was like, I think she said 35, 36, and here she is, one of the bygone places, of people who actually was at a company for so long. She was 62 and never pursued it because a company will pay you to give up on your dreams, to give up on your purpose, to give up on the thing that will make you happy if you will let it. Again, I'm not telling you what you should do with yourself, but I will tell you that you should think a lot about what's going on in your life and what exactly do you want and how beneficial it would be to you to get that done. Even if you cannot make it into a business, because we're not talking about you making the business. We're not talking about you making it, becoming a millionaire. I'm not telling you that if your hobby is collecting refrigerator magnets, that you're going to become a millionaire for collecting fucking refrigerator magnets. I'm not telling you that. Please do not misconstrue my words. But I will ask you to do the thing that makes you happy. Because happiness is only a state of mind. It's a very low bar thing if you ask me, because happiness is external. I would ask you for reach for joy though, because joy is internal. Joy is the things that you feel very good about, that puts a smile on your face that you really want to go out into the world with. Happiness is circumstantial. You having a good day at work, even though you hate your job, is circumstantial. Regardless of how shitty your job might be, you understand that you have a great life and you smile because of it. That's joy. And I don't think a lot of people experience joy. I think a lot of people experience bouts of happiness. A lot of us don't reach the state of joy, whether it's meditation or just the smaller things in life that you just have particular friends. Maybe you doing a walk with your dog. Maybe you just understand that the most important thing to you is you taking care of your kids, your family, small little things. You should get along with that. You should have that. But a lot of people will put so many things in the back burner for a job. I was having a conversation with someone earlier today. We were comparing how it's different from her from when I used to work overnight shifts in a job from when she used to work overnight shifts at a job. And it was a thing where she said, I have to do all this and that. And then I leave in the morning time and I'm just so spent from work because I worked overnight and I just so tired and I sleep and mess up my sleep schedule and everything. I said, that's cool. I don't even fault you for it because I understand that. But at least you didn't have to go home after all that. And you still have to work from home because you have to get prepared for other shit. It was like you doing homework. You went to work and came home and had to do work at home to prepare for the next time you go to work. And she's like, oh no, I have to do that. I said, then consider yourself spared because there are some mofos that did that lived for a company. And I ask anyone who's in that position, don't live for a company. I don't give a damn how much salary you have. Don't do it. Your time is worth more than fiat currency. Fiat currency might give you a decent level of living, depending on how much you're making, but it will never substitute for how much time that you're sacrificing in return. It's my personal thing. Because you'll hear people all across these panels, especially because all the men that I hear, and I dread the idea of having to do it because it's on my least favorite subject about talking about blackness or even men in general, because it's so fucking subjective with the amount of trolling and narratives and talking points and just having to swallow the bullshit that I have to hear in my ears. But when I hear just the words, that because it was the words that I kept hearing a lot today was as a man. Oh, internally, I had my eyeballs rolling. Yeah, I think there were times where I was just like, "Oh my god," like, I just need to okay, I'm staring, I'm staring. Oh my goodness. Oh, whew, I gotta blink now. Okay, we back in the game. 'Cause I had to roll my eyes out at a certain point 'cause just hearing the 2 words in 1 letter, "as a man," bothers me. That phrase bothers me because when they speak anecdotally. When they speak in terms of a hive mind of what things what they think things should be, and I go, "Based on what metrics?" At least with the Bible, you have commandments. It was written with a higher purpose because you don't get that when you have all these random dudes on the internet talking about as a man, especially when you hear people that talk about as a man and have not had father figures. And even if you had a father figure that was as that man, not as a man, because we live in a multicultural country. Masculinity looks rather different for a lot of different men. And I don't even want to hear about as a black man because most black men have different experiences. There's a whole thing that I want to talk about just in reference to that, but I would not dare speak about it now because A, I hate the subject, but it needs to be talked about because I think it's something that would be great content for you guys. And B, I want to make sure that I get it nailed down very proper before doing it because I know that when I do it, I'm going to do 2 things, and maybe 3. A, I'm going to have a big nap afterwards. B, I'm going to freaking drink afterwards. And C, which is the thing that I hope not to do, I'm going to fucking smoke afterwards. I don't really want to, I'm really dreading getting into the topic of itself because I hate the topic altogether. But it is something that needs to be talked about because it revolves around the channel and they're very important. It's around narratives and talking points. But you'll know when the time comes because you're probably seeing me stressed as fuck during that stream. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'll probably even warn you ahead of time. I'm gonna hate this stream, but we'll get into it when the time comes. So anyway, I think I've taken up a lot of your time. Let's see what's going on here in the chat. Let's see what's going on. What's going on? What we got going on here? Well, I mean, both sides. Mm, mm, I don't know if both sides are gonna feel the same way, but if you see that, it's a struggle for many people. Me inspire? Ah, I don't know if I'm so worthy of your praise of inspiring, sir. But if you manage to find a way to really quit it, I think that in itself and just being able to find that willpower will be something that will push you very much forward in the future. Because when you find the willpower to do something that you know has been crippling you, um, you'd be surprised what other things you're sitting there going like, I overcame this. Well, what the fuck else could I have done? What the fuck else that I thought was holding me back that I couldn't do that it was just this fucking easy. I will tell you what I heard from a motivational speaker, right? And I'm not to say it's gonna work for you, but it's something that he said, and when I thought about it, I took it to heart. So the motivational speaker is Jim Ron, and he said the best way to overcome something, the best way to get something done for the miracles of your life is that you tell yourself this: if you can do it, it's easy. Now, it's not to say that the things that you have to go through to make it happen won't be difficult. But the idea is that if you know in your mind that you can get it done, that it's something that's manageable that you can get to. consider it easy. You flying without a plane is difficult. You overcoming a challenge that you can see long term or even in the short term, or you taking that long term task and breaking it into small bite type chunks to meet the threshold at the end of the race is easy. Most people turn around and say they want to get to the promised land. And they look at the whole road to get to the promised land and they give up because they don't look at each step. They just see down the road. If you're a person who can see down the road and you can measure your steps, you'd be surprised how easy the task can be. I'll think of something that Eric Thomas says is that if you have a particular goal you're trying to get to, you're gonna have to give up something. You're gonna have a cost to get there. But do yourself a favor. Don't think about the cost. Look at all the steps that needs to go there and know that you want to go there. Don't think about the cost. Because if you look at the cost, you might quit. You might give up. And that's real to me. I think a lot of us give up on our passions, our dreams, the things that we can do for our friends and our families because we think about the cost. When we see how big the task is, we give up because we don't put them into measurable things that we can get into. We turn around and tell ourselves that it might not just be for me. Or we say that I can't do this alone. You can. It will take you much longer. It will take you more effort, but you can get it done. And I think a lot of people need to figure out if it's something that they can really manage. The bigger the dream, the sweeter the taste when you get that victory. But to have that unshakable confidence that you will make it there, man, that's a big thing. Because that's what we talk about fortune favoring the bold, not the prepared, the bold. You can prepare all you like. Without the action steps, it don't mean a damn thing. I'm just saying. You said I am cooking today. I guess I can have my moments. To be honest with you, I try not to get into this motivational spirit because I did so much of it when I working and when I was working with people and I was had a team and I was doing my thing. Like I was a motivational jockey. Like I did it so much and so often. I was like, God damn it, I didn't mean to put you on a tirade and freaking be talking so fucking hype. But I used to do it so much. I used to keep people in the ass because I would do it all the time. Because I had so many conferences, whether it was online or whether it was actually in the company itself. I used to do it so much. I mean, yes, seeing things from that perspective at the same time, it's very good. Okay. Not a pilot though, but all right, fair enough. Uh, with that being said, like guys, I hope that I will be able to, by the way, before we break off at anything else, because I want to put up some stuff. First of all, I'm making a decision for myself on whether I want to start building more of a content flow when it comes to you guys because I've been trying to figure out how exactly I was going to do things. And you guys hear me say this all the time, but now you guys see me that I am posting more. I have been on more of a time of getting on stream with you guys, and I've been really trying to figure out a path for myself of whether I want to try to do more of being on this constant thing on a regular basis, on a not well, I guess you could say a more on a full time basis, or whether I just want to keep this something as part time. Um, because quite frankly, I have a good support system, and quite frankly, that I have a lot that I want to say, but also I know that if I do this on a slow burner, it'll be always be a slow burner, and I don't know how much the world might try to take me away from it because all you have to do is meet the right person who might try to take you away from it. So I'm thinking I might want to develop as much opportunity and as much effort that I can into this so that say if an opportunity does come to me, I ain't too worried about them. because I know that we have something going on in the future. But I'll be honest, it gets it gets difficult because I don't know what the future is going to be for this channel. For all I know, we're here together and we're all doing our thing together and we're all supporting each other within this channel. But the truth of the matter is that it only works out if we are engaged. It only works if we are bringing forth stuff. I mean, again, you guys can always reach out to me, whether it's at my email address, at Resla Opinionated. I know I plan on making myself more available online, and as far as um, being more open and being more authentic with you guys as well, because it's very important. Because I don't think that's something that we get a whole lot of um, here online. So that's something I do want to do as well. And it's yes, it's for you guys, but it's also for me as well because I've always been a person that says I want to be open, I want to be honest, I like to be authentic when it comes to people. And the same person that you get online really is, believe it or not, really is the same guy that you get in the streets. So I I want that to be something that we see more often. And I'm just always thinking about how I can incorporate things into the life that we're building here together. Um, I will be trying to figure out a content schedule. So I know I've been saying that for a little while. Saturdays is the day, by the way. Saturday will be the day. I haven't figured out the actual time frame because even today I thought I would do it at 3, but I was helping out Will on Cellulite's podcast. I loved it. But Saturday we know is going to be a lock-in day when it comes to content. I do know that there is a day where I want to figure out another day where we'll be doing a live stream. So in my mind, at least for sure right now, there'll be 2 days where there will be a live stream. I don't necessarily think that it would be going for about 2 hours or so. I think the streams will probably be like that 1 hour to hour and a half, whatever, two, depending on how it goes. We'll see. But I'm also I like doing videos. I like prepping some things for you guys in case things go wrong or whatever. So I want to do that as well. I'd be having so many topics and so many things in my mind, but between real life outside of talking with you guys online and actually getting the time to write things down, getting new ideas in my head, relaxing and joining other panels or talking with other people or doing more research or just relaxing or just kicking it up and just reaching out to friends, family, or even my my partner in crime. Um, it's just it's a lot. It's a lot. Uh, anyone who tells you that content creation is an easy game, they're freaking lying to you. It's a lot of work. I didn't realize how much work I was gonna be getting into, but honestly, it's just me building myself into the idea of knowing that this will be a mission. Um, and I don't know. It's new to me. It's new to me because it opens up aspects of my mind that I never had to use before. That's just pretty much it. But I hope that you guys are actually enjoying it. I hope that you guys also are willing to reach out to other people as well to let them know that they have a great hand in seeing how exactly the content creators, at least here, is getting started. I have a whole bunch of things that's coming on. I'm not even gonna tell you. I'm not even gonna tell you because I got the things in the work and I don't want to say something that's not necessarily written in stone yet. So when it's in stone, that's when you know. And on top of that, like I said, you can reach out to me. You can always feel free to leave me comments, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, guys, because I know I get views on the channel, but no one actually likes it for some reason. Because it is what it is. A lot of people like to watch, but they don't like to actually like the channel. It's whatever. It is what it is. I do appreciate some engagement because when I do talk to you guys, I do get things in my mind. And you never know if you're actually reaching out or if you're actually writing things or how you feel about the video, or the case may be. It could spark me to actually do a particular topic. I know CCD, you've already inspired me to do something. I was actually having a conversation with Mama. She's inspired me to do things. Like you'd be surprised what other things that we talk about with either within the chat or most likely within the comment section, because that's the thing I actually go back to. Trust me, I'm not trying to go back to a long stream to scan the freaking chat. So comment section is always something that comes up in my mind, so I can always take a look at that. And then just basically moving around the internet to see what works out for who. Because when I'm not sitting here in front of a camera, I'm out there in real life actually having conversations, actually seeing what other people talking to other content creators who I know who are not even in this space, people who I met through the photography world, like you'd be surprised. And I try to come up with stuff like that. So I appreciate the time of you actually coming here and just sitting here and rocking with me. I know that you could be somewhere else because they are way more entertaining and they have been doing this for a long time. But hopefully, you guys will understand that I do this not just for me, but for you guys because I think that we are going to build something that's going to be really authentic. We're going to challenge the freaking narratives and the talking points that a lot of these people get to because let's be honest, we go into a lot of these places where we don't know who's really being authentic or not because when we go to a lot of spaces where we see them, they say the same thing over and over again. And hopefully you're not seeing that from me. And if you think that you are seeing the same shit from me, call me out on it because I don't want to see myself for that. This is not a this channel is already difficult enough as it is because we don't have a niche. Our niche is having discussions, is having particular conversations, talking about the everyday things that we go through, the things that we see on the internet. Yes, from here and there, I may give my little bit of a motivational spear, to kick somebody's ass because I think somebody needs to hear it. And if you know somebody who has a particular perspective or narrative they need to hear about, to get them into line, to get them into gear, to hear something that might be outside of what they conventionally keep spewing in the background while you're there cooking or whatever the hell you're doing or on your job, you say, you know what, that shit that you're saying, I got somebody who might be able to challenge you on what you were saying. Because again, I would like to have a conversation with anybody, not for the desperate, because I talk to believe it or not, I talk to everybody when I'm outside. I could be literally standing on a line in Costco, and if that person could speak English and they're saying something that's kind of crazy, like, oh, that's interesting. Why did you say that? What do you mean why I said that? Well, I have a conversation with people online, and they go, "You have conversation with people online?" I go, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." And what you're saying is just sounds kind of weird and kind of counterintuitive to what people say. This is what I hear, but you tell me your thoughts on it. You'd be surprised just because I'm a person who's a content creator now, which is so weird for me to say that I'm able to open the doors and talk to so many people because of the various amount of conversation that we have online and then challenging their point of views because the entire point, the entire premise that we're putting together is to have people finally start thinking for themselves instead of us going to all these channels that we go to and we keep getting beat over the head with talking points. And then we finally get somewhere where we can be free, where we can take off the mask, we can just be ourselves and we can laugh and we can troll and we can do all the other stuff and not hear, well, so and so said this, and this is what I hear, and these hoes this, and these ninjas this, and da 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 da. It's not what it is. We shouldn't be going through that. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna let you go because I want you guys to get yourself settled. I want you guys to go get yourself a drink. I want you guys to go scarf down some food. I want you to shit, shower, and shave because come on now, we know this. 7 o'clock. Well, 7 o'clock. Oh, gee, this is 7 o'clock your time, right? It's 8 p.m. for those who are on Eastern for the porch. Correct me if I'm wrong, OG. But at 7, of course, we got chilling on the porch with OG Do Dirty. I'm gonna try to be there. Um, I'm gonna have me a beer as well because I'm trying to figure all this stuff out as well. Oh, yes, sir. Listen, listen. All right, it's his time. So it will be 8 p.m. for those who are on Eastern Standard Time. And of course, I hope to all see you there. But until then, I hope that you are all ready for me on the next episode. I am still working on things to make this more streamlined so that instead of me just doing this back and forth, how kind of way to do it, you're going to get more synchronized show. I'm doing some more practicing. I'm doing some more rehearsing because I like to free ball it the same way I have, but I do understand there's some topics that need to be a little bit more catered on and I will have other people who are going to be on joining me on. But of course, as always, I will have segments where you guys will also be talking to me because I want to hear your voices. Staring at the chat is nice, but you'd be surprised how much dialogue, how much conversation, how much in real time we can be able to get things out for not just us as individuals, but also for everybody who's listening if we have conversations. So we will be doing it. Yes, yes, sir. Free ball. That's right. When we hear no draws, just straight swinging, straight talking, free balling. Absolutely. Anyway, guys, that's enough of my time. Gonna kick it to you. Hopefully, you guys will get yourself ready to get on the porch, chilling with the porch with OG to dirty. And thank you for showing up. And I will see you on the next one. Keep yourselves good. Keep yourself safe. I'll see you next episode. Stay opinionated. Till next time.